So, comfort foods is the topic for this week, I guess. And to tell the truth, I love potato chips. Potato chips are my comfort food. Whenever I am upset or had a hard day at work, I just go to the store and grab a bag of potato chips. Barbecue is my favorite flavor. And actually, me and my girlfriend, when she comes on Sundays, we usually eat a bag of chips, probably about this big between the two of us. And this is our hickory barbecue potato chips. Barbecue is my favorite flavor, so that's what comfort food means to me. So I finished reading two books this past week that I want to talk about very quickly. The first is Superstition by Robert L. Park. The subtitle is Belief in the Age of Science. And it talks about as the world gets smarter and more knowledgeable, it turns out that some superstitious beliefs are no longer accurate and they no longer apply. One of the beliefs that he talks about, and it's always interesting one, is people who pray for games, like sporting events, that their team will win. And you have one side praying for one side of the sporting event, and the other side praying for the other side of the sporting event, and God always disappoints half the people. And that's just because of the nature of the sporting event. One team will always win, the other team will always lose. And so it's sort of a superstition, a coin toss, a random chance whether your team will win or not. It has very little to do with how much you pray for it. He also goes over other superstitious beliefs. For example, the homeopathic medicines, which are diluted to the point where there's no active ingredient left. A lot of people think that those homeopathic medicines, which are basically just water, will actually help them. But if there's no active ingredient, then it's not going to help you. For example, if I had a really bad cold and mom made me chicken soup and I got better, and I say, oh, I got better because mom made me chicken soup. Well, that's not really true. I got better because my immune system was good at fighting the virus. Whether I had chicken soup or just had water, I would still be better. By the way, I did have a cold these past 2 weeks, and I am a bit better. And no, I didn't have chicken soup. That was just an example. But it's the same thing with homeopathic medicine. A lot of people say, oh, they have the sniffles or a headache and take these homeopathic medicines, and then they feel better, and they attribute that to the homeopathic medicine when no, your body actually has a natural system to make you feel better over time, and that's more likely what's going on. The placebo effect could also be part of that as well, and he talks about it in this book. Recommended if you're a person who's into superstitious stuff and you want to read about science and how knowledge is changing the way we look at the world. This is definitely a book I would recommend. I give it a 7 out of 10. The second book I read this week is Letter to a Christian Nation by Sam Harris. Sam Harris is atheist, and he's also a really good speaker. If you haven't seen him speak, he has a few TED Talks. But when it came out that he was an atheist, he started getting letters, a lot of letters from Christians in the United States, and they were very angry letters. And this was his response to that. And as it turns out, he sort of looked at all the letters he got, and he read through them, and he found that the most angry ones, the ones that were most vile and said the most horrible things about him, were actually the ones that quoted the most Bible verses. So he attributed this to the people who are the most religious, the most in line with the Bible and with their faith, were the people who were sometimes threatening his life, and the ones who were most intolerable to criticism. So this book is sort of his response to a lot of the criticisms he got from his letters, some of which had said, you know, it's about evolution, some of which is about how he has no morals, because atheists, they say, have no morals. But he explains really well where he gets his morals from, why he believes what he believes. And I think the best part about this book is where he finds common ground. He talks a bit about 9/11 and how offended he was about those attacks, that people would do that to our country. And he's like, I know you feel the same way. I read it because I'm a Sam Harris fan, and it was a fast book to read too. It's not that long. If you're not a Sam Harris fan, you probably won't like this book. Overall, I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. He doesn't really have a lot of space to go in depth. There are no chapters or ways to mark like what he's talking about. So it's harder to like use this book as a reference. Now we're getting to the good part. So I started a new book this week after reading Sam Harris's Letter to a Christian Nation. And before I show you what book it is, a few weeks ago I told you guys to look at a trailer online on YouTube, and it was a new Tim Burton movie that's coming out, and hopefully you guys all looked at that trailer, because now I'm actually reading the book, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by Seth Graham Smith, and I'm like halfway. I'm not gonna give any spoilers at this point, but this is where I'm at in the book, and I mean, just look at the back. Yeah, that's Abraham Lincoln with an axe in the head of a vampire. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. This is what I'm reading now. I can't wait to review this book. Very excited. It's good so far. It's coming. Karsten, I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone else, I'll see you guys next week.